Good morning, America. Frightening crash. A helicopter plunges to the ground in busy Huntington Beach, California. Video capturing the chopper spinning out of control before it suddenly goes down. At least 5 people hurt. The investigation this morning.
Nor'easter taking aim at the East Coast. The major cities set to feel direct impacts, widespread flooding rain, wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour, and high surf alerts. Our weather team tracking the storm.
Hostage release deadline now just hours away. The anticipation in Israel, massive crowds gathering in Hostage Square as hundreds of thousands try to return home in Gaza. Our live report from Tel Aviv.
Cancer fight. The latest on former President Biden's health battle, the decision to use radiation, and what all men need to know about prostate cancer.
Celebrating Diane Keaton, the Oscar-winning actress who starred in so many memorable roles.
Oh, well, la-di-da, la-di-da, la-la.
A lifetime of unforgettable performances. The tributes are pouring in this morning.
Reality show arrests. Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie facing fraud charges.
It's always a good time.
And NFL matchups. The teams going head-to-head today. ESPN's Herm shares his gridiron wisdom. And in baseball,
The Brewers will play for the pennant.
on to the league championship series. The Brewers moving on to face the Dodgers.
Polanco sends it into right
And the Mariners now face the Blue Jays.
for the first time.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Sunday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Happy Sunday to you. Great to have Gio back in the saddle this morning. A lot of news to get to, of course, including tracking that nor'easter. Sure, you guys felt the wind coming in today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're watching that. Also, we've got the latest on former President Biden's battle with prostate cancer, the decision to use radiation, what all men need to know about the disease. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, but we do begin here with that terrifying scene south of Los Angeles. A helicopter, you see the video here, falling from the sky. Let's get the latest on the injured and the investigation from ABC's Melissa Don in Huntington Beach. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning. The NTSB is now investigating what caused this helicopter to suddenly plummet and crash. You can see that helicopter wrapped around this bridge. This marks the second helicopter crash in the state of California just this week. This morning, an urgent investigation underway after a helicopter crashed along a busy beach in Southern California, leaving 5 people hospitalized. Dramatic video capturing the helicopter above Huntington Beach around 2 Saturday afternoon. You see it spinning several times and then suddenly plunging onto the palm trees below.
It spun, 3 or 4 times. It slammed, it hit a palm tree. I think it took out part of the palm tree and slammed into the base of the bridge.
The mangled wreckage lodged amid these trees near the Pacific Coast Highway. Authorities say 2 people were pulled from the wreckage and another 3 on the ground were injured. All 5 rushed to nearby hospitals.
5 individuals are transported to local hospitals in unknown condition. Currently, NTSB is en route. They'll be conducting the investigation.
The helicopter, part of Huntington Beach Cars and Copters event, scheduled today.
First, I was like, is this part of the show? But then once it started spinning faster, I was like, oh, nope, it's about to go crash.
Eyewitnesses also telling ABC News they saw what looked like fuel leaking out of the helicopter as it fell. But luckily, it did not burst into flames. Now, officials working to figure out what went wrong. Police say the Cars and Copters event is scheduled to go on today. The show organizers sharing a statement saying that they are sending their prayers for those impacted by this accident. But this morning, they're still getting ready and setting up for the event later today. Janae?
Unbelievable video there, Melissa. Thank you. We are going to turn now to the big storm bearing down on the East Coast. The nor'easter threatening to bring significant coastal flooding and high winds to the region for days. ABC's Morgan Norwood joins us from Asbury Park along the Jersey Shore. Already windy out there, Morgan. Good morning.
Hi, Janae. Yes, I've already had to start holding onto my hat because we're getting in on those really gusty conditions here in Asbury Park. If you take a look at the ocean right behind me, you can see those massive waves just crashing along the shore. We know the conditions are expected to get worse as this strong nor'easter moves ashore. The system already making its presence felt, causing coastal flooding and rough surf in King Tide, South Carolina. And then here in the Northeast, New Jersey's governor has declared a state of emergency covering all 21 counties, with officials urging residents to prepare for heavy rain, strong winds, and potential coastal flooding through Monday. In Newark, traffic advisories there are already in place for possible street flooding. And then the National Weather Service is warning that winds could gust up to 60 miles an hour along the shore. And local officials say now is the time to secure anything outdoors and, of course, avoid flooded roads and be ready for rapidly changing conditions throughout the day. Janae?
Certainly will. Morgan, thank you. So now let's get the latest on the storm track from Leslie Lopez from our LA station KABC here in the building with us. Good morning, Leslie.
Morning. Nice to be with you. But we have to talk about this. I mean, we're talking about strong gusty winds moving up and down the east coast. And let me just show you, this is what's happening right now. Flooding concerns remain in Garden City, South Carolina, but a lot more watches and warnings. So here's how it's going. This strengthening nor'easter, it's moving up towards the Carolinas, up towards Virginia Beach. High wind warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts very possible. I mean, that is damaging wind up and down all the way into New England, even high surf advisories, and of course coastal flooding, beach erosion. We're talking about areas that could see a lot of inundation, so we're going to watch out for that. But otherwise, we have lots of impacts out of this, and this includes not only flooding, again sticking around through Monday, moving up towards the east coast, and it looks like maybe as much as 2 to 3 inches of rain. So we're going to keep you updated, but this is starting to barrel right through the east coast. Gio, back over to you.
All right, so we should take this seriously up and down the east coast. Leslie, thank you so much. We go overseas now to the Middle East as Israel awaits the return of its hostages and Gazans trek back to their homes after 2 years of war. ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is right there in Tel Aviv with the latest this morning. Ian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. 500,000 Palestinians are believed to have returned to Gaza City and the north of the Strip since the ceasefire. That's according to the Gaza Civil Defense. But I can tell you, our producer, ABC's producer on the ground, reporting that many people are now heading back south because there's nothing left. No homes, no access to water, food or internet. Meanwhile, here in Israel, the families of the hostages told to expect to finally receive their loved ones, hopefully by tomorrow.
This morning, the deadline for Hamas to release all remaining hostages now less than 24 hours away. In Gaza, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians displaced by the war making the trek back north, hoping to return to the place they once called home. But for so many, only rubble remains. Salwa Sharab says she doesn't even know where her house was. All our hard work, all our life's effort is gone. 60 years, all gone. Nothing left, she says. Human rights groups warning that many in the enclave are suffering from famine. The ceasefire deal calling for an immediate surge of aid. Some trucks already arriving in Khan Yunis. The desperation is as great as the need. Meanwhile, in Israel, tens of thousands of people gathering in Hostage Square, the way they have every Saturday since the 2-year war began. But now, families dare to hope the end is in sight.
We are very exciting, waiting for our son and for all the 48 hostages.
Israelis praising the US president for spearheading the deal, holding up a banner with the words, Nobel President Trump.
Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump!
Trump's daughter, son-in-law and special envoy Steve Witkoff in attendance ahead of Trump's visit tomorrow.
I dreamed of this night. It's been a long journey.
Well, according to the Prime Minister's office, President Trump's going to meet with the families of the hostages tomorrow before he heads to Egypt for what's being touted as a peace summit with the leaders of more than 20 countries. And remember, for President Trump, this wasn't just about Gaza. This is part of his plan to try and achieve a wider peace settlement across the Middle East. Whit?
Ian Pannell, thanks so much. We appreciate it. And more on that now, because to mark that ceasefire deal, President Trump, as Ian just mentioned there, planning that whirlwind trip to the Middle East. ABC's Jay O'Brien is following this for us from Washington. And Jay, the president really hoping he can help push this over the finish line.
Absolutely, Whit. Good morning. President Trump leaving in just hours now for a trip to the Middle East for what he calls a day of celebration, trying to see this peace deal through to the end, a deal that White House officials say he was intimately involved in negotiating. His first stop will be Israel, where he'll speak to the Israeli parliament. Then it's on to Egypt, where the president of that country says he and President Trump will chair a peace summit with more than 20 countries, including Arab and Muslim states that were integral in this Gaza deal. Meantime, as you saw Ian mention there, the administration's two principal negotiators, Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and his Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, speaking there in Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, but also the rare appearance there of Trump's daughter Ivanka. And as she spoke, those cheers of "Thank you, Trump" breaking out. The crowd there also booing the mention of the name of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But there are still questions this morning, Whit, on if this deal can hold. President Trump says he's confident it will lead to a lasting peace. Whit.
Yeah, a lot of questions, so much at stake. Jay O'Brien, we appreciate it. Thank you. And tune into This Week later this morning. George Stephanopoulos speaks with Vice President J.D. Vance about the latest on the Gaza peace deal and the indictment of New York Attorney General Letitia James. Plus, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on his efforts to fight President Trump's deployment of the National Guard in Chicago. Janae?
All right, Whit, and amidst all of that, there's still the federal government shutdown and now more mass firings maybe on tap. ABC's Alex Perche is in Washington with word of help on the way for those military families caught in the middle of all of this. Alex, good morning to you.
Good morning, Janae. Yeah, a court filing said that more than 4,000 federal workers would be fired during this shutdown. Well, breaking this morning, a White House official confirms to ABC News that that figure is just a snapshot in time. Those numbers will rise. And as this government shutdown is now in its 12th day, President Trump says he's directing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to use all available funds to pay members of the military on October 15th. Some 2 million military service members are part of that essential federal employee group required to keep working through the shutdown. A spokesperson for the Office of Management and Budget tells ABC News that funds for these checks are coming from the Department of War's Research and Development. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has begun firing other federal workers, an unprecedented move, the biggest cuts coming from the Treasury Department and Health and Human Services. Other layoffs happening at Commerce, Education, Energy, HUD, and Homeland Security. And this morning, ABC News has learned that the administration mistakenly issued layoff notices to key CDC offices, teams responding to measles outbreaks in the U.S. and Ebola cases in Africa. The administration blames a coding error for the mix-up. The White House says it's making cuts to afford essential services, but President Trump has called the shutdown an opportunity to make cuts to programs supported by Democrats. Gio.
And we will see how long this shutdown continues. Alex Perche, thank you so much. We turn now to Tennessee and the painstaking and dangerous search for victims after that catastrophic blast at an explosives plant. ABC's Mola Lenghi is in Bucksnor, Tennessee right now with more on this. Mola, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Gio. Yeah, authorities confirming 16 people killed in that devastating blast. Basically, everyone who was inside the building, inside that manufacturing facility, died in that massive explosion that could be felt from miles and miles away. As you can see from this aerial video here, there is virtually nothing left of the facility, and that made the initial search for victims and the current investigation incredibly difficult. To identify victims, authorities had to rely on rapid DNA technology and personal belongings found at the scene, as well as cell phone data, trying to figure out whose cell phone was at the location at the time of the blast. Now, this scene remains incredibly volatile. Remember, this is an explosives manufacturer, and there is still a lot of hazardous material and potentially some unstable chemical agents at the scene, creating a pretty dangerous environment for investigators who are combing through it. Authorities will be conducting some controlled explosions and controlled burns throughout the day to get rid of some of that hazardous material, clear it out, so they can get back to the business of investigating. ATF agents remain on the scene, helping in the investigation as authorities try to pin down exactly what caused this deadly blast. Whit.
All right, Mola Lenghi for us. We appreciate it. Now to the news that former President Joe Biden is receiving radiation therapy for his prostate cancer as part of his treatment plan. His office announced his diagnosis back in May, saying it was an aggressive form of cancer that spread to his bones. ABC's medical correspondent, Dr. Diane Keaton, is joining us now. It's always great to see you this morning. An important topic. What does the addition of radiation therapy say about his condition right now?
Well, radiation is just one option to treat prostate cancer, and that can look different
different from person to person depending on their age, their overall health, the stage of the diagnosis, and also the risk and the benefit of the treatment itself. Now, with respect to President Biden, we understand that he has a more aggressive and more advanced cancer, and this would be considered appropriate in conjunction with the hormone therapy, which we understand that he's already using.
And how do doctors know if it's working?
Yeah, well, we typically track something called a PSA. It's a blood test called a prostate-specific antigen, and you typically track and trend this every 1 to 2 years. But important to note, this is also the main form of screening, and as a reminder for those out there, you typically want to have those conversations in your 40s. For the average man, it's typically recommended to start screening at the age of 50, but many men do not know that they have an increased risk. For example, black men, we have a higher risk of death from this diagnosis, those who have a family history, a father or a brother, and those who have genetic risks. The BRCA gene, which increases your risk for breast cancer, also increases your risk for prostate cancer, so important to have those conversations early.
Important information. Dr. Darian, always appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, now we celebrate the life of legendary actress Diane Keaton, who's died at age 79. Her career spanned 6 decades and included 4 Oscar nominations, 1 win, and some of the greatest films of the era. ABC's Chris Connolly is in Los Angeles with more. Chris, good morning. What a tremendous loss.
Hey, good morning to you, Janae. Time and again, Diane Keaton delighted audiences with her on-screen spontaneity and her comedic flair. This morning, her show business peers are paying tribute to a true original who enchanted them as much as she enchanted all of us.
Here, don't give it to me. Don't.
An Oscar-winning actress who irresistibly brightened a host of highly successful romantic comedies and dramas from the 1970s onward, Diane Keaton made the most of those opportunities and captivated audiences.
Could make me be blue.
She'd be a sensation playing the title role in 1977's Annie Hall, a Best Picture winner from writer-director co-star Woody Allen. Her engaging, working it out in real-time screen appeal, her character's floppy hats and wardrobe, making the Annie Hall look a fashion phenomenon, and won the Best Actress Oscar.
Annie Hall was a wonderful experience for me.
It was one of many comic collaborations she'd have with Woody Allen, from the science fiction fantasy Sleeper
You okay, Amy? It won't give me away, will you? You're a nice person.
to the straight-faced Russian literature send-up Love and Death.
I definitely think that this is the best of all possible worlds.
She'd play Kay Adams, the eventual spouse to Al Pacino's Michael Corleone in the Godfather films.
Michael, you say you love me, and then you talk about allowing me to leave.
Later, Keaton would team with star and director Warren Beatty in the 1981 epic Reds, an ambitious biopic of the American leftist John Reed.
Come to New York. You ought to be in New York.
Thank you very much. I'll remember that.
What?
I'll remember your advice.
Keaton hailed for her work in the film as Louise Bryant, Beatty thanking her from the Oscar stage as he accepted his Best Director Academy Award.
You make every director that you work with look good.
Decades later, with Nancy Meyers in the director's chair, Keaton would be perfection itself, opposite Jack Nicholson in Something's Gotta Give. She was a mother of 2, seen here with her children Dexter and Duke. Tributes from her peers underscoring their affection.
You don't own me.
Keaton's First Wives Club colleague Bette Midler writing, she was hilarious, a complete original, and completely without guile, or any of the competitiveness one would have expected from such a star. And her Father of the Bride co-star Steve Martin, quoting an exchange from Interview magazine between her and Martin Short. Who's sexier, me or Steve Martin? I mean, you're both idiots, Martin saying. It sums up our delightful relationship with Diane. Her memoirs were hailed, Brother and Sister, a powerful look at life with her troubled sibling, Randy. Keaton discussing it with Juju Chang.
You say that Randy was the single male relationship that was the most intimate in your life.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What did you mean by
He
that?
still is. Because look, I'm a person who's never married. And I think that Randy had the most significance.
Diane Keaton's death at the age of 79 was announced Saturday, leaving behind a body of work that will entertain audiences for generations.
Seems like old times.
Millions who are already devoted fans, ready to recall her greatness. what a career it was. She was in the original Broadway cast of the musical Hair. She directed a documentary, music videos, TV episodes, and feature films, published books of her photography. And oh, how we loved her on screen. La-di-da forever, Gio.
Oh, Chris,
Yeah.
what a beautiful tribute. Thank you for that. And she just looked like such a lovely human being. You were saying that The Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride when I was 5 years old, like my favorite movie.
Oh.
And that body of work and the range of talent. We heard even the voice at the end. Just
That's right.
incredible. She touched so many people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And still ahead right here on GMA, we've got the latest casualty of the government shutdown, Smithsonian Museums.
Plus, NFL Week 6, a battle of 4-1 teams in the NFC. ESPN's Herm Edwards, our buddy, joins us with a preview.
And a reality show couple facing fraud charges. The latest on the case involving two of the stars of Real Housewives of Potomac when we return.
She's at it again. Taylor Swift shattering records with the biggest album debut in history with over 4 million units. And now tomorrow morning, GMA has a huge new exclusive announcement on Taylor. So what's next for her? Find out on Good Morning America.
Ooh, Whit's ears perked up when he heard that. He was
Very
like,
excited.
what? Welcome back to GMA. That sounds very exciting. Of course, Taylor Swift broke records with the biggest album debut in history. Tomorrow, right here on GMA, that exclusive announcement on Taylor. What's next for her? You're going to find out Monday morning here. We can't wait for that.
We got some Swifties in my house, so that's been
Just
on
a bit.
repeat. Yeah, a few. All right, let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we're following on this Sunday morning. A violent and deadly weekend from multiple shootings around high schools and colleges in the South. At least 6 people were killed and 12 injured at a high school homecoming in Leland, Mississippi. And at least 1 person is dead and 6 others injured from separate shootings around 3 college campuses in the region: Alcorn State, Jackson State, and Louisiana State universities.
Starting this morning, the Smithsonian facilities are closed. That includes museums, research centers, and the National Zoo. They're another casualty of the government shutdown. Online resources will remain available, and zoo officials reassure the public that this will not affect the care of the animals.
And the Milwaukee Brewers defeated the Chicago Cubs 3-1 in Game 5 of the Division Series overnight. They will advance to the National League Championship Series and face off against the LA Dodgers for a 2018 rematch that went 7 games. Meanwhile, the American League Championship Series begins tonight with the Seattle Mariners versus Toronto Blue Jays.
October baseball, gotta love it.
Those poor Cubs.
Well, yeah. All right, we begin this half hour with the NFL. We're already in week 6 of the season. ESPN football analyst Coach Herm Edwards, our buddy, joining us with what to watch for on the gridiron this weekend. Coach, good morning to you. So first up, we get to talk about my San Francisco 49ers. They're facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams 4-1, but my Niners definitely dealing with some injuries. What do you think is the difference maker in this game?
Well, I think for Tampa Bay, it's obviously Baker Mayfield, his ability in the fourth quarter to rally his team and win games. And if you're San Francisco, you have to continue to lean on Christian McCaffrey, because Christian McCaffrey right now leads the team in everything. In receptions, he has 39 receptions. So this guy is a very good football player. You got to keep him healthy. So this is be a very competitive game when you think about these teams. They both have battled some injuries. San Francisco needs to get well. But with that being said, they're playing good football.
All right, Coach, let's move on to the Cardinals and the Colts. What's your take there?
Well, when you think about the Cardinals and the Colts, right, the Colts, all of a sudden, when you look at them, they're playing really, really good. And offensively, Jones is playing, he has resurrected his career here. He doesn't throw the ball to the opponent. Their offense is very good. This is a team that has caught everyone by surprise, and they're hard out. I mean, you don't want to play the Colts right now. It's not like Johnny Unitas is playing quarterback, but these are the Colts, the new Colts that are playing really, really good football. And their defense does a nice job of taking the ball away.
I just have to throw out there, too, I do have a cousin who plays on the Colts and another
Wait,
cousin
what?
on the practice squad. Yeah, and
wow.
So they're helping
Okay,
that
she
out.
just
Thanks,
drops
Coach.
this bomb right here. All right, man.
Taking over.
That's right. Hey, Coach, so last week we were saying here that, we're not betting against the Chiefs, but they've really been one of the biggest surprises this season, not necessarily in a good way. They're facing the Lions, who have just been roaring here. They're playing tonight. What do you think we'll see?
Well, I think if you're Lions, it all starts with their running game, Gibbs and Montgomery, right? And that sets up the play-action pass for Jared Goff, obviously. And this is a physical football team. They are very good. And Beginning of the season, they didn't look real good. All of a sudden, they've kind of found their way. But Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes, and all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes and this offense has come alive with Worthy playing quarterback. And the key to them is real simple. Don't let Patrick Mahomes beat you with his legs. That's right. Patrick Mahomes makes a lot of plays unannounced with his ability to run the ball, right? And that's tough on defense. So you always got to keep him in check. When he gets outside the pocket like this is when he's most dangerous. Look at that. He just finds guys open.
He sure
be a
does.
good football game.
All right, now to our favorite part of the morning, as
Yes.
always, on Sunday mornings here. Time to check out Who's with Herm. Last week, we all got it wrong. We're going to go to the scoreboard here. So Gio's still on top.
My family this week said, we're so proud of you.
Oh, wow. Herm and Janae, they're tied, and I've got one win. This is not a great year after the championship.
It's a great year for me.
So, all right, let's look ahead to Monday Night Football.
You love mentioning that you won last year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got the trophy in my office. Bears taking on the Commanders. What do you think, Coach?
Think about it this way. 2 first-round draft choices. Caleb Williams, quarterback. Jaden Daniels, quarterback. Washington is off to a half start last year. Caleb Williams is much better now with Ben Johnson being his coach, the former offensive coordinator for Detroit. I still like Washington in this game. I think Washington's a better football team, but both these quarterbacks are the future of these organizations. And Jaden Daniels, obviously, he's spectacular running the football or throwing the football. But I give the edge to Washington. They're a little bit better team. They might be the best team in the NFC East. You hear what I just said?
Okay.
They might be the best team in the NFC East.
Wow, yeah.
And I'm taking a shot at my Eagles because I'm not liking the way my Eagles are playing right now.
Yes.
Well, Herm, you have led us astray for the past few weeks. I'm going with the Bears, my friend.
You're going Bears, okay.
I'm going with the Bears.
I also, because Herm is biased with Jaden Daniels, so I am going with the Bears.
Yeah,
and
what?
Caleb.
I'm gonna stick with Coach on this one. I'm going Commanders.
All right,
I like
we're
what they're
gonna
doing.
see.
My guy Debo, former Niner. I'm with you with the Commanders.
Thank you so much, Coach. And we have a Monday Night Football doubleheader tomorrow night, starting with the Bills versus the Falcons at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Then it's the Bears versus the Commanders at 8 Eastern on ABC. We'll see whether Coach was right.
Man, I need a comeback big time.
Right.
It was ugly.
The reality star and her husband facing fraud charges. Real Housewives of Potomac's Wendy and Eddie Osefo accused of lying to police about a break-in at their home. ABC's Olivia Rubin has more on this story that so many people are talking about. Good morning, Olivia.
Really, everyone talking about it. And the key here, not just the break-in, but the items that were inside of the home. Police say the couple reported almost $500,000 worth of luxury goods stolen from their home after this break-in. But now officials saying many of those items weren't actually stolen at all. And they're also calling into question if the break-in ever even happened.
I'm also a political commentator.
Wendy Osefo is a familiar face on Bravo, a cast member on The Real Housewives of Potomac.
I quit grading, but I'm still passing judgments.
But now, Osefo and her husband Edward arrested, facing over a dozen counts of insurance fraud. It all started, court documents say, when the couple reported a burglary at their house in 2024. Claiming thieves had stolen more than $450,000 worth of jewelry, clothing, shoes, and other luxury goods, then submitting claims to insurance. But officials now say many of those items weren't actually stolen at all.
So I don't care if she's a real housewife, fake housewife, or whatever she is, we would have handled it the same way regardless of who she was.
One key item, Wendy's engagement band. According to court documents, Edward reported it stolen and recovered more than $4,000 from an insurance company. Then, the pair accused of submitting that same ring to a different insurer. Officials say it was social media that raised even more red flags. Osefo allegedly seen wearing that same ring in an Instagram post made after the alleged break-in.
Our investigators start to scour social media and look at specific items that Mrs. Osefo regularly wore, and it wouldn't have been difficult to see some of those items on her after this incident took place.
In one email, according to court documents, Edward seemingly asking Wendy to pad their insurance claims, asking if they had, quote, additional high-value items we can add to this inventory listing, adding, I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum.
And court documents saying Wendy and her husband had substantial debt. The couple has not yet entered a plea, but both were released on a $50,000 bond while this case proceeds. Now, their representative for both of them saying in a statement the Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court.
Wow. All the details laid out by law enforcement, too. We'll be watching it closely. Thank you, Olivia. Appreciate it. All right, coming up on Good Morning America, our group chat, the stories and images that got us talking this week.
Okay, we are back now with our group chat and the events that got us thinking this week. And I got to tell you guys, the only thing I was thinking about this week was my sister's wedding down in Florida. I spent the day there. Take a look at these photos here because, these are just so beautiful. There she is, Jaslyn, with her husband Seth, and these gorgeous photos from Cara Moriarty. Thank you for those. But before the wedding, we did one of those first looks. Yeah. Just take a look at this because, so we had the ugly cry. Guys, I was crying from beginning to end here. And even after this, it just went on and on and on. And it really made me wonder, why do we cry? And what's so fascinating about this is that it's all still a mystery, right? We know that obviously several emotions can make us cry, but we really still don't know why it happens. And my friend Eric, he told me this, and I thought this was the most beautiful thing. The blessing of tears is always the truest sign of love. Aww. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. And I think that when you look at this, tears are a mystery, but so is love. Yeah. Love is a mystery as well.
And it is your baby sister, too.
It is my baby sister. Congrats to Jazz and Seth.
Beautiful. And congratulations to her, the happy couple. All right, so now this is an amazing reunion. And of course, I love dogs. So I've got a dog story for you here. Edmund Lighthall's dog, Peter, went missing from his backyard in Indiana 10 years ago. So he was understandably heartbroken about all of that. But then 2 weeks ago, he got a message that an animal control center 45 minutes away found him and scanned his microchip. So Lighthall says that Pete may be 10 years older, but his personality is still the exact same. He recognized him right away, a whole decade later. And it's just a reminder, too, about microchipping your pets and all of this. I mean, even as time passes, when they located that dog, it was the microchip that reconnected them all these years later. I love it.
Love it.
Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about hobbies. It's one thing that I like to ask people now, like finding out the different ways that people relax or spend their free time. My hobby as of late has been running, as you guys know.
And you are really running.
Really running. I did do my 20-mile long run on Friday. Also, I've started learning to play tennis, which is another fun little pastime. So I started looking into the benefits of having that kind of outlet. And they're shown to improve mental, physical, and social well-being by reducing stress and burnout. They also provide a sense of purpose and accomplishment and can lead to positive long-term health outcomes, including potentially increasing life expectancy. So we get so busy with work and all of our different responsibilities, but having a hobby, finding something that just feels good to you, that you don't have to make money off of, it's just something you just love to do. It has felt really good to me, and you guys have hobbies.
It's like a healing mental escape to be able to do that.
When you get to get out and play soccer.
Except for
you're playing piano.
The key is not injuring yourself as often with the hobby, like I've been doing.
Body,
dealing with a back injury right now.
But it was worth it.
But you have your outlets. So.
Right after those piano lessons, I text you sometimes. I'm like, I just had the best piano lesson. And it just does something to you. It really does. It really does.
So
thank you for that.
Hobbies.
Yeah, good group chat today, guys.
Now with our play of the day, and the little football players getting some big inspiration. In Fallon, Nevada, coaches of a youth team told the players they'd be facing a surprise team out of their league. That's when the Churchill County High School varsity football team showed up for a scrimmage. The younger players excited to see a vision of their potential future, while the older players said the younger team was miles ahead of where they were at that age.
That's
They played full
so
speed,
sweet.
right? They didn't take it.
But I'm sure the big kids didn't tackle
I
the little
hope
ones.
not. I hope not.
Right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Leslie, it's always great to have you visiting us in New York.
Yeah.
Have a great Sunday.
We'll get that clicker fixed. All right, guys.